Syen.
And I am Julia.
And Julia and I are functionally literate. We can kind of read.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Here or there, yep.
Here or there. We can read. Like,
we're doing our best.
I forgot what we're reading.
We are reading the 5th season.
Who's that by?
N.K. Jemisin.
Yeah.
Jemisin.
Yeah. She's awesome. She is a really cool fantasy writer.
A legend.
This book she wrote, the 5th season, is the winner of the 2016 Hugo Award.
Yeah. And it's deserving. This book is amazing.
You know, this series, because it's a trilogy, every book in the trilogy won a Hugo Award.
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're going to be today covering chapters 15 through 17.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. How have you been, Julia?
I've been great. You know, I'm just enjoying this wonderful Saturday.
Fantastic. I'm enjoying this wonderful Saturday too.
Yeah. It's a great day.
It is a great day. How's Chris?
Doing good.
Chris is doing good. We did play D&D.
They did some fun nerd things.
We did do some fun nerd things. If you want to watch, if you want to listen to that show, it's called Tales from the Scroll. That's the thing my friend does, and I'm on that show. Julia isn't.
It'll be on all the same platforms that Functionally Literate is on.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be on all the same platforms that Functionally Literate is on, which is all of the podcast platforms.
I'll tune in.
Thanks, Julia.
Of course.
That's awesome. Chris, before we get started, Chris has a theory because Chris is our sound guy. So Chris has not read the book, he will acknowledge, but he does have a theory because we've been talking about it.
It's almost like you read it.
It's almost like you read it. And his theory is that obelisks are eggs for stone eaters.
I kind of love this theory. I think it's kind of cute to think of a stone eater, like, hatching
Yeah.
out of an obelisk.
It kind of explains why a dead one would be in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
It does.
Didn't hatch.
Not quite. It got damaged.
Needed more time.
You know, just needed to percolate a little more, but something happened that put it in the ground. So, maybe it needed to stay there to heal. And Syenite actually fucked it up.
But maybe it's alive because we know in the last chapter it said the person inside the stone the stone eater inside the obelisk said
it was a different stone eater, wasn't it?
it was a different stone eater, but it was a stone eater inside the obelisk literally said,
"I'm fine, thank you for asking."
So maybe stone eater not as dead as we initially thought.
Maybe. Yeah, that's an idea.
Unless Syenite's like seeing things, which is totally possible.
Chapter 15. You're Among Friends, where we find a comm like no other. So we reach the place with all the origins, and it's not quite. It's not at all like what we thought it was going to be.
No, it's like there's no markets. It's a town,
There's
but
no
it's
walls. There's no walls around this town.
No
That's very
farmland,
unusual.
really.
No, it's abandoned. It's a town that we as in Origins decided to live in.
Yeah.
That's it.
And we are like wandering through this town right now, and we think it's abandoned, and then all of a sudden 3 women
just show up.
Come out of some house, and they're like,
"Hi.
What's up? What are you doing here?" And one is named, how do you say her name? Say it.
Ika.
Ika.
It's odd spelling. It's YKKA.
Yeah.
It's Ika.
But she says she introduces herself as Ika Raga
Castrima. Yeah.
Which is interesting because...
Well, it tells us a few things. First, it tells us the name of the town, which is Castrima.
Mm-hmm.
And also that she is choosing to identify as a Raga. Which, that makes sense.
It's just previously, anytime that we've heard the word Raga being used to describe an origin, it's used in a nasty way and
It's
is
derogatory.
a slur.
It's
Yeah.
straight up. It is. I would liken it to the N-word.
Right.
Straight up. Like, unequivocally.
Right.
You know.
But she claims it as part of her name.
Which I think is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because, so I'm going to relate this to real life. And I'm going to go ahead and say it right out from the front. I am a white guy. Right? So, not trying to be, I hope, I'm not at all offensive. So, I feel like the N-word is related to real life. It is not a word that should be reclaimed. Right? Like, I remember, like, wondering about this because I work at a school, right?
Yeah.
And it's a big school, and there's black kids at that school, and more than anyone else. Like, I've literally never heard a white kid use that word. If I had, man, I'd be sending them to the office so fucking fast.
Well, they're probably not going to use it in front of you if they are.
True, but the black kids don't give a fuck. They will use that word liberally.
I think I mean, I can see why you would say, like, I don't know about it reclaiming of that word, but we probably just, like, won't understand.
I remember I was thinking, like, I'm white, so I shouldn't, like, maybe my opinion doesn't matter. Let's get some black opinions. So I remember looking up some articles. I saw one, and the guy, it was weird, right? Because it was a black guy who was fired for using the word, right? And then the school district walked it back because so many people were like, what the fuck? And he was hired back on, right? And he talked about his experiences, like, with it and why he doesn't want people to use it and why he used it, right? So this kid was like, you know, my, you know, in that way, and he was like, I ain't your using, and then, like, he's like, don't call me that. I ain't your, you know, and so that was why he was fired, because he was faculty and he used the word.
Yeah.
And, like, it was openly heard, and he was fired, and then, like, it was like, wait, what the fuck? And then he just walked back, and he was like, listen, look, here's my philosophy with that word. I don't think that it's a word anybody should use, and I don't think I said it to him to make a point. Like,
Right.
I don't want him to use the word, and I certainly don't want him to use it in relation to other people. I don't want him to think that it's okay to call himself or anyone else, because that word, at the end of the day, means slave. I am not a slave. He is not a slave. That word means slave. That is not a word that needs to be reclaimed.
Yeah.
Was his views on it. And I thought, okay.
I could respect, I mean, I obviously can respect
I mean,
that
I don't
fully.
like using the word at all, but then like, I read this book and I see this woman who, very different situations, right? Like, she's an origin, she's crazy powerful, she is feared by everyone because of her powers, and they derogatorily call these people Raga. And she's like, no, I'm taking this.
I know.
This is my name.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. Dude.
I think it's powerful.
It is.
Yeah. I think it's totally powerful.
So, in conclusion, who gives a fuck what I think? I'm just a white guy, and, you know.
Cancel him. Sorry. No, I'm just joking.
No, but, I mean, like, it's a thought-provoking book.
Yeah, it totally is.
You know?
There's something new in each chapter that you're like,
I agree.
now I'm thinking about my world, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's good that, like, I think I understand why this got a Hugo Award.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it
For
came out
sure.
in 2016. Remember what else happened in 2016?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, oh, fuck. Anyways, yeah, her name is Ika.
Ika.
Anyways, she's like the leader.
And there is another person in this group that Hoa doesn't seem to be too fond of.
No. Does she get a name?
No, I don't think so.
Well, she is a stone eater.
Yeah, she is a stone eater, and they kind of show their teeth at each
fucking
other.
growls at this lady. And then, like,
You
Ika's
love to
like,
see
none
it.
of that.
calm down.
Or you can't be here.
Right.
None of that.
And so they growl at each other, and Ika kind of explains what they've got going on there.
Well, before she does that, she outs us. She's
Oh,
like, so your
right.
friends know what's going on here.
Yeah, they know you're an origin, like...
And then, like, we look at Tonki, and Tonki is like, yeah, I fucking know.
Like, obviously.
Obviously. It's in this chapter when I was thinking, I don't know if it actually spells it out, but, like, I remember thinking, like, oh, shit, okay, you're a guardian. It's not that you're a geomist, it's that you're a guardian.
Really?
And you know a lot of shit. She had glass knives.
You don't think she's a geomist?
I wonder if guardians get a lot of education about stuff.
Wow, that is a fascinating...
So that didn't come up in the chapter. I wasn't misremembering.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, because that's what, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I just saw that she had glass knives.
No, I think that's a great hypothesis.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate
I think
it.
that's a good hypothesis.
Did I say theory?
No.
Oh, okay, good. But
I said theory in the last episode.
Oh, okay, sure.
So
what else happened?
But
this is a chapter I didn't take notes on. Fuck. Hey guys, this episode might be low quality, but
it's gonna be great quality.
I hope you love us.
So basically, they're like, yeah, bunch of origin live here, right?
Yeah.
And you can come and stay in the comm and be a part of this interesting, weird experiment.
Yeah.
But you gotta behave and gotta be nice to everybody.
Which is
Hoa.
Which is kind of hard for us to want to do, though, because we are here to kill someone.
Right. And she asked, too, or we ask.
Yeah.
Soon we say, have any of you all seen someone who's looks exactly like me, but younger and an older man? And they're like, no, but, you know.
Maybe they're lying.
Yeah,
right?
Asun's like,
maybe,
I gotta get in there and see.
I mean, like, maybe Jija spun a tall tale.
Yeah.
To bullshit his way into this town. It could have happened.
Well, especially because we know her daughter is an origin. So, like, she would be welcomed into this community.
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't be afraid of her.
Like, it's just, there's so much we don't know.
Yeah.
We know one thing. We know that our husband killed our daughter, or killed our son, rather, and then took our daughter.
Who is also an origin.
Right. But
yeah.
we assume he killed our son because he's an origin.
Right.
Right? And we assume that if he knew what our daughter was, that he would kill our daughter as well.
Yeah.
But if that is the case, why would he fucking take them anywhere near this town?
Well,
or did they even go into the town?
Right.
Because
yeah, he would be too scared to go even into the town.
If he knew what it was.
Right.
And it is it is for a fact because he killed our son because he's an origin, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of assumptions that we're making here. Like we don't actually. There's a lot of very well assumed made assumptions.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
But, like, I, Ryan, not I, Asun, am just really wondering, like, why did he do it? Right? And I want to know if Asun's going to ask him or if she's just going to kill him.
I think she should just kill him.
Yeah. Because, like, if he is in this town, because we don't know.
No.
And all that happens in this chapter is we're invited into the town.
And we go and...
That's the chapter.
Yeah.
You know? Like, once we go into the town, like, there's some, oh, shit, my voice is getting real groggy. I'm gonna have some water. Like, we get super pissed about Jija, and we have to, like, calm ourselves down.
Yeah. And Ika is like, none of that is gonna be happening here. And she also, at one point, is like, Hoa, you're gonna behave, or I'm gonna tell everybody your secrets. And Hoa's like, wait, please, shut up. No, I'm gonna be nice.
Because I'm convinced he's a stone eater.
Yeah.
But
which,
we've
like,
got,
how
like...
do they not know that?
But
like, I feel...
Well, because she doesn't... The stone eater with them doesn't look like him.
Right, that's true.
Fucking looks human and, like... He's acting human, like he was walking awkwardly at first when he first hatched.
Is he part stone eater? Half human, half
You know,
stone eater?
yeah. Like, I mean, there's depth. Like, he's certainly not like a normal stone eater.
Mm-mm.
I mean, certainly not after this encounter. That's pretty evident. Like, but the juxtaposition, and maybe that's why they were growling at each other, because he wasn't a normal stone eater.
Who's to say?
I don't know.
But that's essentially chapter 15.
Yeah. And so yeah, like we go into this town called Rastrima.
All right then, come on in.
Castrima, rather.
And I'll show you a marvel or 3.
Yeah. I'm excited for the next episode to find out what happens.
Yeah, me
When
too.
we I hope sometime in the next 3 chapters we get into that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
There is a little passage at the end.
Yeah, there is.
Tablet 3, structures, verse 2. The body fades. A leader who would last relies on more. Okay, so this makes me reconsider, right? Because I was wondering earlier if, like, people that weren't, like, useful in some way, you know. But then, you know, it says shit like this, where it's like, okay, so they acknowledge that people get old. And that, like, maybe old people could be useful here. So maybe if you're disabled, they could still help. Like, they could still find a way to use you. Maybe they wouldn't get rid of their disabled folk. I don't know. I want the answer to the question, what happens to your disabled people? And we don't have one yet.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
I don't have a lot of hope for this universe.
Especially if it's like, it's going to be like thousands of years that this is going to be happening. Because they talk about that too, where like, she's like, I mean, it might be like on the outside over 100 years. But like the reality is it's going to be so much longer. And she in her mind knows that.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Well, the origin that are powerful enough now. Yeah.
So we get into chapter 16.
Syen in the Hidden Land.
So Syenite, Syen wakes up on I mean there's no mincing words here, on an island.
It's definitely not where she was a little bit ago.
Yeah. Now I wake up on an island. It's like, oh, cool. But Syenite wakes up on an island, and when she finds out that's where she is, she's like, no, she's terrified.
Yeah, it's one of the most dangerous place that they could be.
Exactly.
In terms of quakes.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we gotta get out of here.
We gotta get the fuck out of here.
And who does she meet? She is like there with a woman, but not just any woman, a stone eater.
A stone eater. And it's remind me what she looks like.
So it says make a statue of a woman, not tall, hair in a simple bun, elegant features, a graceful pose. Wait. Fuck. Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry, I got confused. I was like, what is she describing? Okay. Make a statue of a woman, not tall, hair in a simple bun, elegant features, a graceful pose, leave its skin and clothing the color of old warm ivory, but dab in deeper shading at irises and hair, black in both cases, and at the fingertips. The color here is faded and rusty gradient ground in like dirt or blood, a stone eater. She's
like, evil earth, which I love that curse, right?
Yeah, I do too.
It's like, god damn.
Yeah, evil, I want to start saying evil earth.
But like, I think that description though is so fucking interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, it really, because stone eaters are nothing like people, right? And when they move, they look nothing like people. But I think it's interesting, like what it says about stone eaters, right? Like that they've lived alongside humans for so long that when they interact with humans, they make themselves look like an affectation of human.
Yeah.
And also, like, they don't talk normal. They like their mouths don't move. It's just like
They're so otherworldly.
It's just a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little spooky.
It's very spooky.
But she brought them there to keep him safe.
Yeah. The Stone Eater saved their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she says that.
Yeah.
So.
But she speaks a different language. Wait, no, hold on.
She doesn't speak a different language. You're thinking of the people on the island, maybe?
You're right. I am.
She literally asks, why did you bring us here? And the Stone Eater says, to keep him safe.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, you're right. The Stone Eater's mouth doesn't move when they talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they realize, or Syenite realizes that Alabaster actually knows this Stone Eater, which is interesting.
When Alabaster wakes up, he speaks a different language.
Yeah.
And she's like, speak Sansamat.
Oh my God.
Which I thought was interesting. It's like, okay, so that's the language. It's the Empire language. Sansamat.
Yeah, this is interesting too because during this interaction is where we find out about the Guardian's ability.
Be more specific.
Of like why Alabaster told Syenite to not let him touch her.
Oh.
He was like, yeah, because if you let that Guardian touch you, they can take your power that can, shake mountains, destroy massive things, and turn it in on yourself.
And destroy yourself.
And destroy you.
So, like in Stranger Things.
Well, I couldn't say.
You never watched Stranger Things.
I watched the first 2 seasons.
Oh, okay.
And then I stopped.
So in the latest season, the bad guy, when he kills people, he like they go floating into the air and then like their limbs crunch in on themselves and then like their neck breaks and then they die.
I assume it would be similar. But yeah, they kind of, I don't know what happens. This Stone Eater just like pieces out, I guess. And they're like on this village and Syenite's like, how can people live here?
Yeah.
And they approach a comm called Meov. Is that how you say it? MEOV? Meov?
Fuck, I don't remember how they pronounced it.
Well, either way.
Meov.
There's a bunch of people and they're like gathering around. And I told you this earlier, like I loved this part.
They're
like,
pirate people.
Yeah, they're pirate people. So they go and they like basically take and steal from other comms and like sail back to their little island.
And Syenite's just terrified that they're even on an island.
Yeah, she's like, what are these people doing here? Do they not care that they could literally die from a quake at any given second?
And I think Alabaster says something like, yeah, but there's like a bunch of other stuff that could kill them at any second.
Yeah, they choose to not live in fear.
Like they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's like if they die, they die. And I mean, that's probably very freeing in a world like this.
Yes, but the island's on a hotspot.
It is straight up on a hotspot,
and they value their freedom over the oppression,
right? Because fucking nobody from the Empire is gonna come out,
right? Everybody's too scared. But it's great, and they go and like Alabaster talks to these people because he speaks that language, and they kind of take them in like immediately. They're like, "Yeah, bet you can stay here." And they stay, and I thought it was fun how she was like describing the little kids like peeking out at points and like staring at them as they like sleep and
just normal kid stuff.
Yeah, it's just great. But they're sitting in their little hut and they're talking, and she's like, how the hell have they lasted here as long as possible? I'm
gonna make another hypothesis.
Yeah.
I wonder what these people would do when the end of the world happens, because we only discovered these people in the past. I just thought of this just now. I wonder if these people, when the Red Rift happens that splits the continent and like all of that ash comes up, I wonder if, because I remember in one of the earlier chapters, it was referenced that nobody really knows what is out there if when you go far enough out, like beyond the water. Like They don't know if like it just loops back on itself and it's just like truly a supercontinent. They don't know if there's another continent on the opposite side of the world.
Is the world flat?
Right. Sure. So I wonder if these people just like decide at that point, fuck it, we're going because the world has ended.
Yeah. They're like, why not?
Right. This episode is not brought to you by VidWest Studios. We're going to do a free plug for VidWest Studios. Chris, come over here. Talk about VidWest Studios real quick and one of these microphones.
Yep.
Yes, come over here, Chris. I want the sound guy. I want the
Time for you to
lead.
shine.
I want the lead volunteer of VidWest Studios to talk about VidWest Studios.
I'm a volunteer. I'm coordinator of the video. I don't know if I'm lead.
You are here more than anyone else.
That's fair. Hi, everyone. I'm going to talk about VidWest Studios. Do you like creative media? Do you like creating things with digital media? But does it cost a lot? We all know it costs a lot. Cameras, mics, all that thing. But VidWest Studios lets you do it really cheap, breaks the barrier to entry, and their mission, their nonprofit, his mission is to encourage creators to do things. Public media is a good thing. Yeah.
And there's lots of other things. What else is there, Chris?
Well, they do a lot of community stuff. So if you not only want to learn how to use the equipment and do things yourself, you could also partner with other groups that do other things. Mainly, part of the reason they're subsidized, and you can cut this if you want, is that they're subsidized by the city as well to provide public media, which is a
city of Columbia. This is a local ad.
It is local ad. They are a community. They are officially a community media center. And I say that because I think that public media is a very important thing, and other communities should look into opportunities to produce public media, because there's a lot of ideas out there that never happen simply because of lack of space and resources. And that's it. That's the only reason. So VidWest gives those people an opportunity who would not have that otherwise.
And that's why I make a point of thanking them every episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
If you would like to contact us and just, chat because you like us, you are this far into this book, you definitely like us.
Yeah.
So because you like us, if you want to email us, go to funk.lit.pod@gmail.com. That is our email address. If you would like to just talk about how much you love the show, that'd be cool. If you want to sponsor us, that'd be cool. Or maybe you're just like a run-of-the-mill person in a run-of-the-mill book club and you would like that book club to be ad-free. If you're that kind of person, you want to join the Patreon. For $1, you can get all the episodes without an ad break somewhere in the episode. And that is a value that will always go up because there will always be a new episode. And then also, if you actually kind of like hearing the ads, but you still want to throw some money our way, there is a PayPal. All of the links for that is in the description of the episode. Back to the show.
And the only reason they've been able to survive is because they accept origins, and the origins protect them from the quakes.
Why would you be scared of somebody that could cause an earthquake if you don't fear anything?
And they don't just protect, they literally lead this entire comm.
The origins do?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's how it should be, I think, depending on the origin, right? You don't want a tyrant, but, I just think about, Native American tribes.
Yeah.
Some of them, they just put the person, there were some Native American tribes that valued trans people. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, because they had a perspective that nobody else had, right?
Right.
Being a person who views themselves as the opposite gender, or some other people viewed themselves as all genders, if they were
Non-binary
like
or-
intersex,
yeah.
for instance, they were hailed in their tribes
Mhm.
like as like sages because quite literally they have a view of the world that none of the rest of them do.
Sure.
Right. And so that is kind of the feeling I got from these pirates.
Yeah.
Is like, you have a view of the world. You have a cesapina, you know, you have this organ that lets you see the world in a different way.
Yes.
You're in charge.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
love that. Give them
Yeah.
the keys to the
Yeah.
castle and let them run.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. But
Anyways, I don't know what else to say. What else happens in this chapter?
I mean, that's like the most of it, other than the great line. Hold on, I'll read it. This is going back though, so it probably doesn't even
to
make sense.
earlier when it's just because this chapter, like a few of the others, is kind of like two parts.
Yeah,
right?
it's them with the Stone Eater, and then
it's them interacting with the pirate people.
yes, basically. And the pirate people are great, and we love them.
Even though we don't remember what they call themselves.
Yeah. But that's essentially what happens, is they're now on this pirate island run by Origin, and...
Ooh, there's also a little bit of gossip here when Syenite and Alabaster are talking to each other.
Uh-huh.
She's talking about, like, the Guardians, and he's like, rumor has it the Guardians answer to the Emperor. Supposedly the Guardians are the last bit of power he possesses.
Yep.
Or maybe that's a lie, and the Humanist leadership families control them like they do everything else. Or maybe they are controlled by the Fulcrum itself. No idea.
It's literally, again, we do, like, not know who is running the show here.
Yeah.
Like, we can have ideas of, like, there are people who obviously have more power than other people, but, like, even the Guardians, it feels like they answer to something.
Yeah.
But we just, like, don't know what that is.
Do you know, and so this is where we take it a step further, which maybe I'm high, and I am high, and I'm definitely white.
He is high.
And so I'm again drawing this to real life, and it's like, I wonder if this is how, like, you know, some people that aren't white feel about our government, right? It's like, I, as a white person, would say, the president's in charge, right?
Right.
And then I feel like a non-origin in this world, a stillhead, would say, the emperor's in charge, right? Because they don't have to think about Guardians.
Right.
They don't have to think about that process. And most of them probably don't even know what the process is about because, like, the whole fulcrum is they're so secretive.
Right.
Like, you have no idea what the fuck is going on there. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I think that really does make sense.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Because now it's making me wonder, like, well, who the fuck's in charge if it's not the president? Like, why are all these systems set up the way that they are?
Judges.
Like, yeah.
And the justice system.
Yeah.
That the people that, like, make the laws and
Or interpret them to mean...
the billionaires that stockpile all the money.
One thing this world has on ours, they do have unions.
They do have unions. We could learn a thing there. That's funny. There's an end thing here.
Oh, yes.
I'll read it.
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I got it.
I'm all for it.
The Stone Eater is folly made flesh. Learn the lesson of its creation and beware its gifts. Tablet 2, the incomplete truth, verse 7.
Folly made flesh. Learn the lesson of its creation.
Let's go ahead and circle back to Chris's hatched egg theory. Learn the lesson of its creation.
I'm thinking back to the prologue.
Okay, yeah.
No, but that is one way to interpret it for sure.
Well, I was gonna say too. Never mind. I was gonna say that, like, there's, like, in one of the chapters with Hoa, he, like, behind backs has, like, a cloth and he's, like, eating.
He's eating one of those rocks.
He's eating rocks.
Yeah.
Just, like, behind. And it's just, like, that's one of the secrets. Like, he's so secretive about
Why don't
what
you
he
sleep?
is.
Why don't you eat?
And he doesn't want to, like, share because he's scared of scaring.
He's scared that we won't like him anymore.
Yeah,
Well, it's
yeah.
just like, man, Like,
What is? It's great.
and that's part of what makes me think like Hoa kind of is a child. Like it's
Hoa's a baby.
like he's a baby, but at the
Yeah.
same time he comes off as timeless. Does
I
that make
know.
sense?
No, I totally see what you're saying.
Anyways, so yeah, that's chapter 16.
Okay.
Now we're on to chapter 17.
Damaya in finality.
Chapter 17 is so cool, and it's long.
It is
also.
long and good.
It's like 40 pages.
Yeah.
I want to say
Yeah.
somewhere around there. It's
Damaya.
I like it because it's like you could just read this one chapter and it's a complete story.
You're so right. It, like you said when we were talking before, it's a mystery in some ways.
They set up a mystery and we solve the mystery, kind of.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions, but like the big mystery is, where is this secret room?
Yeah.
And what's in the secret room? And then we find the secret room at the end and we discover what's in it, but I mean, like, you know,
We still have no answers about what the hell this thing is.
No, I mean, like, the mystery was, where's the secret room? And we solved that mystery. Like, everything inside, like, oh my God, it's so strange.
Uh-huh.
Like, and it really does go back to that question, like, who the fuck is running the Guardians? Because, like, I'll tell you what, Shasha's explanation was not sufficient.
No, I agree. I agree. And they find...
Well, hold on. We're getting out of order.
Yeah, Damaya, she's running around exploring the fulcrum. No one really cares that she's doing it. She's just like going to different rooms.
That's just what she does in her free hour.
Yeah, and she's like, you know, they like her, so they don't care what she does.
They don't care. It's like, you know, she could be doing worse things.
And she runs into someone who is not an Origin.
She runs into a leadership girl.
The daughter of someone in power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She,
Binuf? Binuf?
Binuf.
Binuf.
Binuf. Binuf is, she's straight up like when she tells when she tells Damaya who she is, she uses her full name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's like Bimoon Leadership Humanist, right? And like we find out pretty quickly that she's not supposed to be here. Like we figure out she's not supposed to be here because she's dressed like one of us, but we've never seen her before.
Well, and we can sense other origins. So like she's clearly not that, even though she's dressed like a grit. Like she's like, you're not a grit.
Yeah.
And she's not acting like a grit at all. She's talking way too much to be a grit.
Yeah. Because like any grit that talked that much would eventually get their hand broken.
Right.
You know?
But she says that she's literally just here looking for something, but she doesn't give Damaya like any information on like what particularly she's like, why she's there or why she's looking for what she's looking for.
At first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually we find out she's looking for the hidden room, but she doesn't get into why she's looking for the hidden room at all.
Yeah, she's like, only leadership can have the rules and you're not that.
And I think, if I remember correctly, Damaya is like, okay, well, only grits can fucking be here, and I could just out you right now.
Yeah.
And then, like, this girl is like, well, you didn't out me before, so you'll get in trouble now. You didn't out me the moment you saw me, so now you're
It's too
culpable.
late.
It's too late. And it's like...
Damaya's like, whatever, let's go look. Let's go on an adventure.
Yeah, then they go on an adventure, totally. You know,
and they're looking for this like hexagon room. And she thinks she can find it. She's like looking. There's a locked door.
Yeah,
that Damaya's able to like find based off her senses.
But
right?
the thing about this is, I think this is a really good way to, if I'm remembering this correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, because you read this more recently than me. This chapter really goes to show that despite the fact that, you know, origins don't think much of stills, you know, like they call them stillheads. Like,
Right.
despite the fact that they don't think much of people that don't have their powers, that, you know, like, they can still have something to contribute, because this girl suggests that Damaya use her powers in a way that it didn't occur to her to use them.
Yeah.
And
no,
then
that's
she
totally
finds
true.
the room.
And she does. And
Yeah.
they're closer.
Yeah.
It does that's really interesting. I agree.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because the entire time, Damaya's like, what the fuck do you know? You don't have what I have. Don't assume like you understand. But
it works.
the suggestion worked.
Uh-huh. I know. I definitely think that's interesting. But Damaya still does not even really know what they're like looking for.
No. She
even.
just knows that they're looking for a room that has no doors.
But then eventually Beanoff is, I don't even know if I'm saying her name right. But
that feels right, Beanoff.
She's like, okay, fine. We're looking for an ancient artifact of Humanus.
Like pre-Empire or something. So it's like over 3,000 years old.
And guess what? They find it.
They do, and it causes a lot of problems, because guess who else finds it?
A guardian.
Yeah, there's a guardian that also finds it.
And she's never seen this guardian before. And what they find is like essentially this big like hexagon pit with like shards or whatever. It's looking dangerous. It's looking like if you fall down it, that's it.
I'm picturing like Fortress of Solitude shit, but with like multicolored crystals.
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure that you're onto something.
Superman's Fortress of Solitude, Julia.
I couldn't say I have any idea what that means.
You're kidding. You've never watched Superman?
No comment.
Oh my gosh.
No, I've never watched it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So,
Chris, pull up a picture of the
my
Fortress of
God.
Solitude for Julia, because it perfectly like conveys what I'm trying to say about this pit that they find.
I mean, yeah,
I agree.
it's a hexagon pit. It's got jagged, freaking sharp things sticking out of it.
Yeah.
You go down, you're done, you're dead.
Yeah.
And
But like it's like talking to the Guardian or something.
yeah.
Like this. That's a good picture.
Show her. I already know what it looks like.
Let me see this pit.
Here's an example of the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah. I
Big.
think that it's more Despairy as in hole in the ground, maybe. That's
Yeah.
giving Ice Princess. Like, I want to go there.
Well, yeah, like a much more. If the Fortress of Solitude had a pit, it would be
in
this
there.
pit.
Okay, you're right. I agree. That makes sense. But yeah, that guardian is like, you're coming with me.
But then she's like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, she's glitching.
She's fucking glitching out. And this is like, so this is another one of those instances where like one of these characters is like, this is wrong. This is wrong. This shouldn't be happening. It
Right.
feels very much like when that other guardian was coming at Syenite. She's like, this is wrong. This is wrong. This shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening like this. I know this is wrong. Because that's what was happening here. Only the difference is Damaya doesn't have like a fucking obelisk to shunt her, like draw power from. You
Right.
know.
Well, and then luckily, Shafa comes in and is like, oh shit, goes in, pulls out her spinal cord.
Yeah. And we're like, what the fuck did you do? And he's like, she's got a chip in her spine. I ripped it out.
And so we learn a little bit about where, like, when he first met Damaya, like
Yeah.
the touching of like her to like the back of his head.
Yeah.
And so we kind of get a little insight on
This power that Guardians have to be able to locate origins, I'm led to believe
they get strength from them.
comes
Oh,
from
sorry.
the comes
That's
from
a
the chip.
hypothesis, yeah.
But that's all. I mean,
I wondered if like this, like the origin, like feed the power of the Guardians.
Maybe. Like, because we know that Guardians come from... They're children of Origins, right? Like, we learned that in Chapter 8.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The
But they have to have a surgery to get this chip in.
Yeah.
They're not just, like, born and, like, as a Guardian. Like, they're made to be
because
Guardian.
because what Alabaster says in Chapter 8 still leaves it very open-ended, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, he says that a child of an Origin without Origin powers becomes a Guardian.
Yeah.
But he doesn't explain how. And so maybe the answer is this chip they put in their spinal cord.
That'll do it.
Because the explanation that he gives about this chip is not sufficient.
No. We get no answers. We have more questions. And he's also like, by the way, you got to go take your ring test right now.
He, like, asks her multiple times. He's like, please, Damaya, for me, please,
Pass.
child, please go take your ring test right now and please pass it. Because the only way you are going to come out of this alive is if you pass your ring test.
Yeah.
You have seen too much to remain a grit and live.
Yeah. So,
and that is... Go ahead. I'm like, fuck, dude.
well, I was going to say, and then we hear her say, like, she's like, I'm going to pass that shit. And by the way, when I pass it, I have my name. And I think I can't take it from you because this is when the hypothesis turns into what?
I was half right. I'm half right so far.
You could be 100% right. Just right now, you're half.
So Damaya says that the name she picked out was Syenite.
Yep.
And Shasha loves that name. He talks about the mineral cyanide, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but it left me thinking, like, man, like, he is a fucking abuser, but he does genuinely love this girl.
I know. It speaks into what abuse is in some terms of, like, abuse is not just this thing that, you know, some person does this bad thing and it's 100% hate,
Yeah.
you know? It's so much more complicated than that, I think, for a lot of people. There's, like, love mixed within it, which makes it so much more complicated for people to understand.
Yeah.
And that is, like, so shown in their relationship. That
Because he genuinely cares about her.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I am guardian to 6. And he says it with pride.
Yeah.
You know, when he says it. Like.
And she says, I'll pass the test for you, Shafa. I promise.
Yeah.
There's...
Oh, I was saying Shasha this whole time, wasn't I?
No, I think you were saying Shafa.
I don't think I was. I think Shafa.
Shafa.
I'm sorry, everyone that heard me say that and was like, oh my God, you're saying it wrong.
I didn't even notice.
Fair enough.
So I don't know if they will.
But yeah, so she that's how the chapter ends, right? Like, she's determined to pass this test.
Yeah. And we get another quote.
And then we get another quote. Do you want to read this one too?
Okay. Obscured. Those who would take the earth too closely unto themselves. They are not masters of themselves. Allow them no mastery of others. Tablet 2, the incomplete truth. Verse 9.
So this is... We don't know how the start of this sentence went. Right? Like,
right.
However,
well, that's what I assumed with, like, obscured.
No, that's what I mean, right? It says
yeah.
in brackets obscured, and then, like, it says the rest. So it's like, how does this sentence start? Something, 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 those who would take the earth too closely unto themselves. They are not masters of themselves, allow them no mastery of others. I wonder if they're talking about
Origin.
I wonder if they're talking about Origins like Alabaster.
Interesting.
Because Alabaster is a 10-ringer who is not following his exercise and diet regimen.
Ah.
Right? So what else isn't he doing that he should be doing?
He should be reading the book that you recommended. What was it called?
In the last episode. Outlive!
Outlive. He should be reading Outlive.
Yeah.
Come on, Alabaster.
I bet he would find it very lacking because it would say nothing about the Cesapina.
That's true. You're probably right. Wow.
Well, anyways,
That was a great episode.
It was a great 3 chapters for sure. I loved that we finally get to the city that has like all of the origins at it. Well, the town with all the origins.
I know. I want to go there. I feel like I'd be safe there.
I don't know if I want to go there, but I definitely want to learn more about it in a future episode. I'm excited for Syenite to like be safe on this island, even though she doesn't think she's safe.
I know.
And I am I'm a little sad for Damaya.
It's like, so I don't think we'll get any more Damaya chapters, do you?
I don't know. Because she'd be Syenite at this point.
Yeah, that's what I think.
If there are more chapters from the younger point of view,
it'll be Syenite.
I wonder if like from now on they'll like refer to Damaya as Syenite and they'll refer to the older Syenite as just Syen.
Yeah.
Because in a few chapters she's been referred to as Syenite.
Yeah, you're right.
But like the name of the chapter is Damaya in finality.
I know, so
like,
that's like...
It's, infinitum, final, done, the last Damaya chapter.
I feel like they're closing that right now on us. That's my prediction.
Yeah. I wonder if, like, we're going to get another chapter of, like, what those tests look like.
I know, because that's, like, a question mark. That we haven't really gotten any clarity on that.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's it, guys. We will see you in 2 weeks. We will cover chapters 18, 19, and 20. And I think there's also an interlude in there. After chapter 18, I believe. We're
finishing this son of a bitch.
Yeah. It's so exciting. We've just got 2 more episodes left, guys.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you to VidWest. For reasons that we already got into. Thank you, Chris, our sound guy. Thank you, Julia, for being here.
Thank you, Ryan, for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you, Jake Weller, for our music. If you want to hear a whole album of Jake Weller's music, you can. It's called Wasting Time. It's on Spotify. I've got a hyperlink in the episode description. Check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Much love. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.